Okay, good afternoon. I'm sorry. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. I hope this finds you well. So I came on here to tell you this. And this is what I had to say to myself on this morning after I received two phone calls. Um, and this is what God actually gave me yesterday. But those two phone calls truly reminded me and put me back in. Maybe he had to say it 3 times to me. But he said this to me on yesterday, and he told me that my first assignment was to myself. And that's what God spoke to me on yesterday. That my first assignment was to myself, and I'll explain that to you later. And number 2, he let me know that it's not selfish to tell someone that you can't do something for them. It's for their own assignments that they haven't properly prepared for themselves. And number 3, he told me through the scriptures that I have been foolish. But on today, I don't want to be foolish anymore. And this has been over the last 2 weeks. And back to number 1, where it says, where I wrote down that my first assignment is to myself and making sure that I'm full. I said to myself, why is God sending me back to the scripture about the 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish virgins? And he told me, because you've been being foolish. You know that your first assignment is to yourself. And when, the wise virgins, they were full. Didn't say they were overflowing, but it said they were full. They had just what they needed. Me, I had, honestly, just what I needed when I would say mentally, physically, and all of that. And so what would happen was others were able to call me over the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to say this has been the last couple of weeks. And say to myself, I had an assignment. I knew a week in advance that I had this to do. But you know what? I didn't do it. So I'm going to need you to go do this for me so that I can make sure that I'm properly prepared for my assignment. So I want to delegate you to do this for me real quick. And I would say, yes. But their personal assignment was never my responsibility. It was theirs. So that was on me, and that was foolish of me to say yes and take from my full cup. Not my overflowing cup. I'm letting you know I wasn't overflowing. I didn't have any extra to give. It was on me and very foolish of me to take from my full cup to give to someone else who knew, just like I knew, that they had a personal assignment. And they knew in advance that they had these personal assignments. But they failed to properly plan. So it's not on them, because I had the ability to say no. But I didn't. And it wasn't until I missed a very important appointment for my own personal self-care on Monday. And I didn't even realize that I missed that appointment until later that night when my husband said, hey, how did your appointment go? And I said, oh my God, I forgot. And then, I get allergy shots once a week. And right now, they've really upped the dosage of my allergy shots. And I show up to my appointment to get my allergy shot last week. And they said, you didn't schedule yourself to be here today? And I said, yes, I did. And they said, no, you didn't. And I went to the book to prove them wrong. And I saw that I actually wrote a different day. That's on me, because I was so busy making sure that others were prepared for their personal assignments that I didn't properly plan for my own personal assignment, which is me, self-care, mental, physical, all of that, financial, And so I made a trip down there all the way to St. Augustine. Thank God that they said, okay, we're going to see you anyway. But remember that when you're in this book and you're making your appointments, that you write down the right day. So the second thing was, on this morning, my pastor called and he was like, I hadn't heard from you in a while. You've been laying low. And I've been laying low. I've been busy with things that I could put on the back burner. Things that don't require my immediate attention. Then I got another call from that appointment that I missed Monday and said, hey, you missed your appointment and that's not like you. So let me tell you about this. over quarantine and over during COVID, the first initial part of COVID and all of that, I had no choice but to take care of me, because I had time that I didn't ask for, that I didn't think I wanted, or that I didn't realize that I needed. Now that things have gone back to what some would call normal, because I'm back at work and things like that, I forgot all the wonderful habits that I learned over the last 3 or 4 months, and I stopped applying them as soon as I went back to what was called my normal. I immediately stopped setting boundaries. I immediately stopped saying about me first. And on today, I'm making a decree and a declaration to myself that I'm going to make sure that I take care of me first, my personal assignment. So if I tell someone no, it's not because I'm being mean or whatever. It's because I have realized I'm probably thinking over in my mind that that's their personal assignment. That's their responsibility, not mine. They need to make sure that they prepare for their own personal assignments on their own. If I say no, or I can, or I pull back from some things, it's because I'm taking away from making sure that my cup is full. At this point, my cup isn't full, but I guarantee you it's going to be there. And I want to get to the point to where my cup is overflowing. And that means that I'm going to have to make sure that I balance my life back out the way it was when I didn't want it to be balanced out, when I didn't ask for it, during quarantine, during that time that we didn't think we needed that downtime. I'm going to make sure that I balance my life back out. And sometimes God will do that to us. We'll be on the right track, and we'll think we're still on the right track. And He'll come to us and remind us that we've gotten off track, or that we've gotten off focus. We're hearing Him, but then again, we weren't actually listening to Him. So then He'll come again and He'll remind us of that thing. Maybe through someone else, like I got that phone call. Hey, you didn't do this, and that's, important. And I realized you didn't do that. And we'll still be hearing, but we're actually not listening. And then He'll have to come and maybe with the third person and say that thing even louder. Look, just make it straight and plain, because that last phone call that I got. Hey, you didn't make your appointment. You didn't do this. And they were so cool and calm. Let me tell you, they were calm about that thing. And that's not like you. Get back on track. Stop being so busy. It's okay that you missed the appointment, but it's going to be even better that you get back on track. So it's okay if we miss the mark, but it's going to be even better when we get back on point. So make sure that you make your personal self a priority, and remember that you are your first ministry. And that when you begin getting to the place and to the point to where you're not making sure that you're full, that you are, hey Tasha, when you're getting to the place that you are not full, and that you don't eat, that you are half empty, then maybe it's time for you to maybe recognize that maybe it's because you haven't been making yourself a priority. I can tell when I'm not making myself a priority simply because of physically how I began to act. I began to, arthritis starts trying to show up again. Fatigue starts showing up again. Getting tired, not as much energy. These are all signs that you're not making yourself a priority. So I promise you, on today, I am making myself a priority again. And I won't say that God won't have to remind me again from time to time that I'm not making myself a priority, or that He may not have to remind you again from time to time that you're not making yourself a priority. But don't let this world make you feel guilty that you made yourself a priority, or that you made sure that you minister to yourself before you minister to them. Because the 5 wise virgins, they were ready for their assignment. The 5 foolish, they were not ready for their assignment. And I don't see anywhere in the Bible where those 5 wise virgins were condemned for not giving up what they had and what they needed for themselves to somebody else. As a matter of fact, They were called wise for doing that. So on today, be wise. Don't be foolish like Vita has been foolish. Get yourself some rest. Write yourself out an agenda for yourself. Make time for you. And just treat yourself right, mentally, physically, and spiritually, as well as financially. You all have a wonderful Sunday. If you haven't been to church, make sure that you go to someone's church, whether it be virtual or in person. Just be safe. I love you all. Have a blessed Sunday.